Let's start, though, with those closed-door Capitol Hill meetings between a Navy admiral and senior lawmakers. Those meetings are high stakes, and they are classified. Admiral Frank Bradley will answer for a deadly September 2nd boat strike after a first strike on a suspected drug boat didn't quite finish the job that Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth ordered him to do. So Republican and Democrat lawmakers are going to drill down on what happened after a Washington Post report claims Hegseth ordered commanders to, quote, kill everybody. Hegseth called the Post's reporting fabricated and inflammatory. But that second strike is where the scrutiny seems to be the hottest. The military calls the strike like this a double tap. Now, sources to CBS News say two people who survived that first strike were attempting to climb back onto the boat before the second fatal strike. Our sources also say the pair were trying to salvage drugs and appeared to be in contact with other nearby boats that could have helped them. So let's go live to where all of this is happening, and CBS News Congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns. Caitlin, do we have a sense about whether this new reporting will guide lawmakers in their questions?
Hey, Reed, great to see you. Well, we are starting to get some readouts from lawmakers who have been in those classified briefings. Just to kind of walk you through what we've seen so far, you played that video of Bradley and Kane arriving on Capitol Hill. They met for about an hour with House Intelligence and House Armed Services leaders, top members of those committees, in a classified room up here on Capitol Hill, which is referred to as a SCIF. We have seen lawmakers emerge from that meeting. The two admirals are continuing on to meet with other lawmakers. But Reed, I want to give you a sense of what we're hearing so far from lawmakers who have been in that meeting. I want to show you or talk to you a little bit about what Congressman Jim Hines. He's a Democrat from Connecticut. He is the ranking member on the House Intelligence Committee. He is a Democrat, but here is what he said about what he saw in that briefing. He says, "What I saw in that room was one of the most troubling things I have seen in my time in public service." He continues on, "You have two individuals in clear distress without any means of locomotion with a destroyed vessel who are killed by the United States." Now, he also responded to what you just laid out, which is what the administration is claiming their justification for that second strike, that there were two people on board who had survived that initial attack, and in their telling, they were communicating with other boats and trying to salvage the drugs on that boat, and that is their justification for that second strike. Here's what Himes said in response to that. He said, according to what he saw, they were not in a position to continue their mission in any way. Now, Reed, I want to caveat all of this by saying this is just one lawmaker, a Democrat, who is describing what he saw. So we are waiting to see and hear from Republicans on these various committees as well, to see what their readout is and what their recollection or what their recounting is of what they're seeing in this video. Now, to take a bigger step back here, lawmakers up here have the same questions that you and I and most Americans have. They want to know the timeline. They want to know who was in the room. They want to know what the justification was for that second strike. But Reed, there's also a bigger question that lawmakers have up here, which is, are we at war? Especially from Democrats, and you do have one Republican at least, Rand Paul, who is kind of an anomaly in his party, but who has been calling these strikes illegal in the first place and questioning their legality. Not just that second strike, but the whole entire strike strategy and program. So you have lawmakers up here saying, are we at war? We need an answer from the administration, especially since the president said just yesterday and has continued to say that he is planning potentially land strikes in the future. They want to know because Congress has to weigh in on that. They are proposing a war powers resolution sponsored by Rand Paul and three other Democrats to say that you can't conduct any sort of strikes without congressional input. That'll come up from a vote. But Reed, I can tell you that for the past many years predating Trump, Congress has really ceded its authority when it comes to weighing in on war powers. And so you see a small group up here trying to reassert that authority. We'll see if that gains any traction. We may see a situation where this falls on partisan lines. We'll wait to see what Republicans take from this briefing, if they are having the same readout as the Democrat Himes was. But broader picture here, both Democrats and Republicans just want answers here, and they want to hear it from the person the administration said commanded these attacks in the first place, and that's Admiral Bradley. And then the last point that I'll make is that there is a lot of respect up here for Bradley. You've heard lawmakers on both sides commend his public service. Those who are critical of this have bigger questions for the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth. Ignore that loud movement behind me. Don't know what that was. But they have broader questions for the Defense Secretary and for the president about this broader strategy. Reed.
As they leave those meetings, it'll be fascinating to see what they have to say. Caitlin Huey-Burns continuing our coverage on Capitol Hill. Always great to talk to you. Thank you so much, Caitlin.